It's Matt and Christy here from R18 Summers. What? So, as you know, we are a full-time family of 5, and obviously you hear the kids. So being that it is only 5 o'clock here in Oregon, however you say it, you'll probably hear a lot of commotion in the background. So, a quick shout out to everyone. Thanks everyone for joining us. I see my niece Maya. Hi Maya. How you doing, babe? And we have some other friends, or friends from Diary of the Family. GS Lighting Solutions. Hola. I'm not familiar, but maybe Matt knows you from Instagram.
That's Garrett, yeah.
Oh, that is. Okay.
Yep.
Hi, Garrett. And our daughter Alex is on as well. Hi, Alex, from the other room.
Yeah. Clearly babysitting well.
Yes, she's very excited. We knew there was going to be a bit of commotion.
Yeah.
I think that everybody on here knows a little bit about us. We did want to say that, so we've been traveling full time. Yeah, I can move my notes over. I have to have notes. I'm just like that.
That's how it works.
Where we've traveled so far. So we've been on the road for 9 months. Prior to going out in the RV, we took a trip over to England for 3 weeks and saw our friends Mike and Marie, and they graciously let us stay with them. So thanks, Mike and Marie.
Thank you.
We had a wonderful time there, and now off in the RV. We started out, we bought our RV in Alabama, and that's where Matt's brother lives, so we make several trips there whenever we can. We're from Ohio, so we're always going back to Ohio. And Matt's dad has a place in Florida. So those are kind of our 3 big highlights that we hit. We have also been to Pennsylvania, Maine, Michigan, South Dakota, Montana and Wyoming, Yellowstone area, Washington, and Oregon. Maybe someone will tell me how to say it. That's where we are now. So, Matt, do you want to add anything?
Yep. So some housekeeping things we were talking about is we're going to go through as many questions as we can. So we're shooting for less than an hour. There's a ton of questions, which is great. But as you can hear, we might need to cut it short if the kids go crazy. So we'll have to play that one by ear. But thank you everyone for the feedback that you gave us on all the different social media. And then if you think of other questions as we're going through, feel free to put them in the chat window. And even if we can't get to them this video, we'll either put them in the next video or one of our update videos or one of our actual episode videos, because we always love answering questions from people who are thinking about doing this or are doing this or just getting started or just hitting the planning phase. So definitely love doing that.
So Garrett said it's the second way that you said it. So is that Oregon? Is that right? I don't remember what order I said it in anymore.
Yeah, we'll play it out. we'll figure it out.
Hi, Mrs. Jones.
Yeah.
Yes, Oregon. Got it.
Oregon.
Now I won't get yelled at by the people in the laundromat anymore. So
True story.
that's great. Okay. So we might as well jump right into some questions. We had a lot of questions submitted. I'm going to leave that one for now. Beth asked, is this only a summer thing or will you continue through the winter? So I think that she's asking that because of our name is R18 Summers. So do you want to explain about the name, why we said R18 Summers?
Yep. So we picked R18 Summers because of essentially the time we had with our kids. When you distill it down, living a typical life, you have a couple weeks a year to go on vacation with your kids, and that's really the only dedicated time you have with your kiddos. And that I heard someone referring to these kind of sentiments too, and I'm like, hey, that's how I feel. And you know, we started thinking about this kind of lifestyle. And, you know, at one point in time, you know, I blink my eyes and I go from a newborn to a 10-year-old, And you know, that really hit me, because I'm like, hey, we only have 18 summers with our kids, and that's kind of where it came from. And now one of the things that we're trying to, our catchphrase, I guess, is we're trying to make the most of our 18 summers together as a family. So obviously, it's not guaranteed to be 18 years. Hopefully it's a lot more than 18 years. But either
Not
way.
too much more. Hopefully they'll move out before they're like 35.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So either way, we want to make the most out of our family time. And that's really what that boils down to for us.
Yeah, so the R18 Summers, even though the name says summers, especially now with homeschooling and traveling in the RV, is we have a lot more time together and a lot closer time together. So yes, we are still traveling around in the winter. We do hang out sometimes at his dad's place in Florida or my parents' place in Ohio, or his trailer in Ohio. But anyways, we have some places that we hang out too, but primarily we'll be traveling around, seeing what we can see. We also at least last year, we've only done it for one winter to follow some warm weather,
Yep.
which is already getting cool here in Oregon. So we're ready to look for some warmer weather soon. But yes, winter. We will do winter. Do you want to take the questions from here or keep going with the...
I vote to go from here.
Okay. So next, the questions really, I think for Matt from our friend Sandy submitted it. How does Matt manage working with being on the road?
Yeah, so this is a really good question. So I'm lucky enough to have a really, really, really great company that I work for. It's a corporate job, but they're really, really flexible in terms of, essentially I'm the development manager, and I get to set the precedence of, they're really responsive to work-life balance. They really want to make sure everyone's taken care of. They want to make sure there's no weekend heroics and that kind of stuff, which is great. It was an eye-opening thing for me. That's how I've always been, and the last few places I've worked at had absolutely no respect for work-life balance or anything like that. It was always go, 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 go. So working at this kind of place where you still have to get a lot of stuff done, there's still a lot of responsibility, but they're really, really flexible when it comes to where you're at. It's a 100% remote job, and it's something that I'm really loving to do. So there's a couple difficulties. One is I'm working remotely, so you need to have internet. So we had to upgrade our plan and really toy around with our Verizon plan. One of the things that we were thinking about doing is getting another plan from another carrier, like AT&T, for example. Those are the ones that we always get recommended to, is have one of each of Verizon and AT&T. We're not there yet, and to be honest, I haven't really seen the need for it just yet. Yeah, not going away. There has been multiple months where we've ran out of data, and we've had to get very creative with my internet usage. And one of the second challenges is sound. As you can hear in the background, if I'm jumping on a conference call or things like that, some of the ambient noise can just be heard on my calls, and it's not what I want. I don't think anyone at work would have an issue with it, but it's not what I want. So I got these really cool Jabra headset, and I'll do a demo on them if anyone's really interested in it, but it has a active noise canceling microphone and headset. So it kind of drowns out all of the background noise, both through the microphone and through my ear, which is great. And those are the two big challenges I've had. Other than that, I'm essentially working in the main area with my family doing their homeschooling. And anytime I'm jumping on a call or anything like high stress, I'll go out to the truck or I'll go into the bedroom or something like that. But it has been absolutely a non-issue so far, which has been absolutely amazing.
Hi, Emma. We'll tell the girls. We'll maybe let them say hi at the end of the video to everybody.
Yay.
and along with that, so one of the things, sometimes I have to encourage Matt because he gets all comfortable in one spot and doesn't want to move out of the living room. And that doesn't really work for me either when he has phone calls. So I try to kick him out to, we have a bedroom and the kids have a bedroom as well. So there's options for that. Sometimes we've even, if it's really crazy, kicked him out to the car, kicked him out.
Yeah.
And then even if he really just needs a place to focus, there's other options. A lot of the places have clubhouses, especially out here. There's a Starbucks like every 50 feet.
True
So,
story. True story.
so there's a lot of other options. One of the nice things for doing things right now is that we are in the Pacific time zone. So Matt works on the Eastern time zone. So it probably stinks for him getting up so early. Garrett says Starbucks actually every 10 feet. Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
But he has to get up early, but he's done by 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So we can still, do things in the afternoon and evening. So that's been kind of cool. Yes, my Uncle Matt is drinking a beer.
It is a Portland beer. We had a whole segment lined up for it, but we figured it would be too long, and we wanted to focus on questions. But review coming soon.
Sorry, Maya, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
The next question, we're going to just jump down to, we kind of broke it up into segments, so we didn't have too many about work, actually. School has a couple questions. So Carolyn and Susie wanted to know, how do you incorporate your location into the kids' homeschool? So this is something I'm still working on, so to speak. I like to do printouts a lot. You can find a lot of information and free printouts online about locations, especially related to geography, history, science. There's a lot of different things you can find. We have done a lot of national parks. We've tried to hit national parks anywhere we've gone, and they have really good junior ranger programs, and the kids being 9 and 11, I feel like it really falls into their age range really well. Alex is probably kind of on the top age span of that, maybe needs a little more information. But those days that we go to the parks, we just have them do the Junior Ranger program. Like the ones at Yellowstone was kind of an intense booklet. It took them like 2 or 3 days to complete it. Plus, you're seeing things, you're talking about things. Sometimes we even have to look things up because we don't know all the questions. The answers to their questions.
Yeah, and that program definitely makes you a lot more comfortable with just going up to a ranger and saying, hey, I don't understand this question, or hey, we can't find this anywhere. Give us some hints or tell us where to look it up. And they'll have this long story about all the details and all this amazing stuff. So it makes the girls and soon to be Carter a lot more comfortable with going and talking to the rangers, which is something that's near and dear to our heart.
Yeah, and a lot of times part of those programs, they make you, well, you have options, but you can either like attend a program or a hike or watch a video in the visitor center. So we've done all those different options. And I know the ranger talks and the videos are all really, really good with giving you more information. Another thing I do is sometimes for my girls, they seem to really get a lot out of like the IMAX videos. So sometimes we'll splurge on those if you're in an area. I'm trying to think of other things we do. It is kind of a difficult balance. That was the other question, is what suggestions do you have for families trying to balance homeschooling and activities? I'm kind of struggling with that one right now because we're moving faster than we ever had. We're moving every like week and a half to 2 weeks now, and we just started up school again. So I'm finding that a bit difficult of making sure we, want to get every drop out of the area, but also I have a curriculum that I use with them and I want to get that work done as well. So sometimes that's a difficult balance. Sometimes I just have to let things go. There might be a day where we don't do our regular curriculum, and we just go to the park. We talk about whatever we see. We do a junior ranger program if they have it. You have to be flexible, I would say, is the biggest thing, because it definitely is stressful if you have this like rigid plan in your mind and then it's completely derailed. So that's something I have to work on, and I struggle with that.
Yeah,
So,
I think when we hit the road too, we really had it in our mind that the girls are going to sit down, they're going to do these, 10 things, and then we're going to go play. And that's just not the reality of it. So we have learned a lot more flexibility, I guess, in that lifestyle, which, we're doing it to be flexible, and yet we had a rigid plan for our educations, and it just didn't make sense. So that's something that we learned very early on, is that just so much stressful if you don't have any flexibility at all, which they're still getting their stuff done. We're just doing it differently.
yeah, for Ohio, you have to either do a teacher review portfolio or a standardized testing at the end of the year to turn in with the next year's plan for homeschooling. And we have done standardized testing. So we kind of know the girls are pretty much on track, at least on track. They're doing well. But that's not the biggest thing. I think we really want them to love learning and love exploring. So, all right. What do you want to do next?
Oh, Diary of the Family asked, how many badges do they have? Do you know
Oh,
offhand?
right. Oh, gosh.
Um,
I'm sure I could ask Alex. She would know.
I'm sure she'll.
How many badges?
7 or 8.
7 or 8.
7 or 8.
Hi, Carter.
Yeah, and some
Carter's
of
so
the
fat.
national parks are doing patches now too, in lieu of badges.
Let me show. Actually, I have Carter's coat right here. So my mom got each of the kids, hi Mom if you're on there, a jean jacket, and started sewing some of their patches on there. So Carter loved Cadillac
Hold it up,
Mountain.
hold it up.
Oops, sorry. Can't see it. So he has a couple Cadillac Mountain badges, a Spider-Man badge, Acadia National
Acadia.
Park. This is one of the ones that they're handing out now. Let me show you. Carter got something on it, but for the Junior Ranger program, not all of the parks have the patches. Some of them has still have the little plastic badges. So there's an Everglades one. I don't know if they have badges. We did that one like 9 months ago, and then the patch. So anyways, the kids get a kick out of it. So we either get a patch or a pin when we go a lot of places. So done with that. Okay.
Cool. All right. Great question. Keep them up. All right. Did you want to?
Yeah, this was the question that came through before.
I can't read it.
This Arctic Wolf person. So somebody asked, they said they love their Arctic Wolf. How do you like yours, and have you had any issues? So we really like our Arctic Wolf. We love the layout. We really love the bunkhouse. The kids do have a door. It is shut, but they keep opening it.
Yeah, it's a 315 TBH8. We have a tour video that we're going to put together here shortly. We wanted one that was more authentic and actually by someone who's using it. So that's why we didn't do it when it was all shiny. But yes, long story short, yes, we've had some issues with it. Yes, there's still some warranty work that needs to be done with it. So while we really like the layout, there's definitely some quality / thought out things that could have been better.
Yeah, and if you have any more specific questions, like who said that? Foey Bump? No,
Sunset
that's somebody
something,
else.
yeah.
Sunset.
Yeah, so get to the point.
Okay. Anyways, you can always private message us. Can you private message on YouTube?
You can just leave a comment and we'll get a hold of you.
This
If you
is
have
my
any
tech
other
guy.
questions, we can definitely we can definitely talk details. We can probably spend an hour talking about just that.
Yeah,
our
about different.
experiences.
I think all RVs have their. Yeah, Garrett says, has anyone ever had a perfect trailer?
Right.
Probably not. So, like somebody told us, it's like a 8.0 earthquake every time you move on your trailer. So yes, there's issues. Probably the primary thing is more minor stuff, but there was a couple other things as well. Our next section, do we want to do this one since we're kind of talking about that?
Sure.
We'll do travel. The first question is, what is your favorite family game? Well, that's kind of travel, but that's kind of other. But I kind of put that one there because the other question is, what do you do to entertain the kids on long drives? So, do you want to talk about that?
Sure. Some of the things that we do is we'll have a whole queue of YouTube songs queued up. So we'll do some sort of DJ, and we'll just be listening to music and stuff like that. And each person will be picking pick a song, and then we'll play it, and we'll just go around and around and around. So not necessarily watching videos, but listening to the music as a family, and each person gets to pick. That's by far one of the funner things that we do. What else?
Random dance parties. So it's not really a game, but we like to just put on music, and like Matt said, a different person gets to be the DJ. And pick songs and ask everyone what they want to play, and everyone has a dance party. We're certainly not a family of amazing dancers, at least, especially us two.
No.
The girls like to laugh at us, though.
Right.
Let's see. How do you plan where you are going and for how long? That's from Garrett and also Beth. And how far ahead do you plan? Well, this has kind of changed as we went. So at the beginning, we planned everything out as far in advance as we could. Now, oh yeah, good job, buddy. Now it's kind of, our style is kind of called just winging it, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't say that. We plan it out whenever we can. We don't have a lot of specific timelines. So we went to the Full-Time Families Rally in Michigan in the middle of August, and then we're going to another one in New Mexico in October. So we knew where we wanted to hit in between there. We knew we wanted to come out to the Pacific Northwest and hit South Dakota on the way. So we kind of looked ahead, how long do we want to be in South Dakota? How long? Then we're also 1,000 Trails members, so whenever possible we like to hit the 1,000 Trails because it's no additional cost on top of what we already paid usually. And those stays are 2 to 3 weeks, so we're usually at a park around 2 weeks for the most part, sometimes 3 weeks. And sometimes even less, just depending on how long we want to be there. So now after we leave here, actually Matt decided last minute to do a Tough Mudder with Garrett. That's a whole nother story.
Yep.
Anyways, next weekend. So it's kind of thrown our whole plans out the window, and we're just changing it up. And that's the great thing about this lifestyle, is that we have the freedom to do that if we want to, for the most part.
Yeah,
So,
great questions.
and the 1,000 Trails, we can plan for 1,000 Trails. How far out can we book?
120 days?
Yeah, and then it's also part of Encore Parks, which I think is 60 days out. So, that kind of limits our time. If you want to stay at a national park, which we have not done, Matt needs to have good internet. A lot of time the national parks and state parks don't always have good internet, so we haven't done a lot of those. But some of them, like Yellowstone, you need to be on there like when they open a year before. And we don't plan out that far ahead usually, so that's probably part of our limitation with that.
Right, definitely.
The next question from Beth. With a smaller living space, I bet you live a pretty minimalistic life. What did you bring from your home? And I forgot to write down the other half of the question. Oh, and I think it was, and what do you wish you brought?
Great question.
So,
yeah, well, I know definitely it's minimalistic, which is great because we found when we were downsizing in our house, it was a lot less to take care of, a lot less to keep clean, a lot less to worry about, which is great. So right now, I mean, we went from having 12 sets of dishes to 5 sets of dishes. things like that.
12 set, maybe 12 like place settings, you mean?
Place setting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. So we have actually, I can grab it if you want to, but we have one container and everything literally fits into this container. All our dishes, we don't have dishes or like plastic plates, but our plates, bowls, and cups all fit into one container, and then we have another smaller container for serving utensils.
Yeah.
And
So
items like
and
that.
that's the point. Is we went from a big kitchen with 2 cabinets full of dishes to one little tote of dishes, and we're very content with it. If the kitchen gets crazy, we can spend 15 minutes cleaning it out versus hours cleaning it up. So that's definitely the point. Other things we brought from the house, things like teddy bears and blankets and stuff like that. We definitely had to downsize the amount of teddy bears and things like that the kids had, but we did bring some of those along.
Yeah, I was
too.
gonna say, I feel like we have all the main things that you would have in a house. We just have a lot less of them. Instead of having 200 stuffed animals, they each have 5 or 10. Still too many. But I'm trying to think of what we don't have that we had in the house. I feel like we have everything, and our life is, I think, a lot more rich because of not having so much stuff to deal with.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So for your second part of that question is, what do you wish you brought from your house? I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
maybe some tools, because there's
Oh, that's a
sometimes
good
like
point.
to work on some things that Matt is like, oh man, I just left that in the storage unit, and we're like, darn it, now it's 18 hours away. Shoot. But
Oh.
I don't miss many things like I thought I would. We have a storage unit still that we need to go through, and I feel like talking to a lot of full-time families is kind of a process. Like, you purge and purge and purge, but then you still have a lot of things stored, and then you have to do the process again until you get down to what you want.
Right.
100 some. Okay.
Nice. He said he's a spammer. That's cool. Someone asked, how often do you go to the laundromat?
Well, I try to go about once a week. This week, I've already been twice because the other day I changed Carter 3 times between mud puddles and the ocean. So it just depends on the week and probably what the campsite looks like. And normally I don't have a problem with the laundromats. Usually you can get in there pretty easily. I a lot of times will go late at night. But the last couple places, they have been really small with only like 3 or 4 washers. So I'm going quite a bit just to get a washer. So there's a lot of different things, but typically about once a week, depending on how I can get in there. The next question from Beth. She wants to know, what happens if your RV breaks down? Do you have to Uber to a hotel? Well, knock on some wood here. Hopefully we don't have that issue so far. We've been really lucky with issues with the RV. We've only had minor things that we've been able to take care of ourselves, such as like we haven't had a tire blow, but we have had to change out a tire. Stop and re-secure things in the truck. So we don't have an actual like bus RV, a Class A, so to speak. Sorry about all the random spammers on there, if you're on the chat. But ours is a truck and a 5th wheel. So if we have an issue, with the trailer, we can always park the trailer, get the trailer work done, and have the truck. And then, yes, if we ever need to stay in a hotel, we're prepared to do that. So,
Right.
yeah. And then if the truck ever broke, I guess we would have to deal with that. We did buy a new truck and a new trailer, hopefully to mitigate some of those issues. So, let's see. Matt has trouble reading my writing.
How much time driving versus? I can't
Oh,
remember.
how much time driving versus how much time at your destination? So that really varies. We like to only drive drive time 4 to 5 hours or so, at the most. But this haul, we've done some big jaunts because we've went from Michigan to South Dakota to Yellowstone, and then Yellowstone to Washington. So those were pretty long.
Yeah, normally we don't drive that far, but with me working on the during the week most of the time, we try to move only during the weekend. So if we were gonna stick to that, doing some of the longer hauls would either push us during the week or we have to drive longer. And normally we don't like driving that long, just because there's a little bit more stress associated with driving. But one of the things that we've noticed is if we can time it just right, Carter will be sleeping, and that gives us a lot of extra travel time without having to stop or without having to get him out and let him run around and stuff like that. So that's
I want more milk.
No,
Alright,
not right now,
what's
buddy.
next?
Okay. What I put the back ones on here. What suggestions do you have for a young family contemplating living the full-time lifestyle? Can you get him an ice, Lala? You want an ice, Lala?
No, I want Momo
So-
milk.
Yeah. So
Papa says hi. Say hi, Papa. Hi, Papa.
a young
He's like,
family.
where is Papa? I would say go for it. So mainly me, because Matt's always ready to jump into new things, had a lot of fears about doing it. But really, a lot of things turned out to not be as bad as I thought. And I think anything new can be scary. So you want to wait for things to be just perfect, but nothing is ever just perfect. You kind of just have to find the best timing that you can and kind of roll with it. And then just be ready to make changes more often than maybe you do at home, where you're in the same routine all the time. Because it's definitely, you can still you can still have a routine, but it's, always in a different place doing different things. So you just have to be flexible.
And our setup's the same everywhere we go, so everything has its place, and it's the only thing that changes is the location. Everything else is the same, so that's something good. And then also, the good folks over at Keep Your Daydream, they preach this all the time. Is if you're interested in this kind of life, you gotta make it happen with what you have. Right now, instead of waiting for everything to become perfect, and that hit us home. That definitely hit very close to home for us. So it took us a year or so to get our house in order and get everything cleaned out and get out the door, and that was good to acclimate people who are fearful for changing lifestyles this drastically, but it was a really good thing, and keep that in mind too.
Yeah, and I think depending on your situation, obviously you can't go broke doing it. You have to do some planning, and if you need to sell things or whatever your case is, but it hopefully won't take you years and years to get to somewhere where you can get a smaller truck and a smaller trailer and do it part-time, or get out there on the weekends, whatever gets you going, I guess, is what we're saying. So I would say if there's any families out there watching, one of the things you probably hear is like people talk about, oh, I'm gonna have kids when I'm 30 or when I'm this or when I'm that. There's never a perfect time to have a second kid or a third kid or whatever. Nothing's ever perfect. So you just, do the best you can.
Definitely.
Let's see. Is there any other questions? Not on there so far. Oh, we skipped the personal life section. So Kyle asked a couple questions kind of in what we put under the personal life question. Do you miss consistently having friends or family around? So I think that's an easy one to answer. Yes, of course we miss all you guys. And then he said, so obviously you miss your friends and families, but how do you handle not having friends and family around consistently? So the kids do a lot of FaceTime with their cousins and their grandparents whenever we can. And they now have some like messenger apps where we can manage them and they can talk to their family and friends. We also recently, well, we joined a while back, but the Full-Time Families group, we got more involved with that, and we're meeting more people that are full-time, and then their kids also have different tools to chat and call and talk with other kids, and I think having other kids that are also mobile gives them a common thread there.
Yeah, and that was something that was really exciting for us to see too, is because we're always worried, you know, are the kids gonna meet friends and stuff like that. And even before this group, we were at other campgrounds and stuff like that. They were always making friends and getting exposed to that kind of stuff at the pools and the playgrounds and all that good stuff. I think seeing the kids at the first rally that we went to, there was 25 or so families at this rally with kids living the same or similar kind of lifestyle, that they all were able to
I think what Matt's trying to say is they made deeper friendships with the other full-time family kids than they do. At a lot of the campgrounds, they always find kids to play with, talk to,
Yes.
all of that, but it's not something you necessarily keep up with. Thanks, buddy. But now they're getting deeper friendships, such as like the friends. They don't have a ton of friends at home, but the friends they have at home are good friends. And I feel like they made some more really good friends that are full-time families. The next question. Do you miss not having a brick and mortar home to come to every night? Do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, you can jump in after too. So when we sold our house, every time we are at Christy's parents' house, which is within a few miles of our old house, we definitely are like, you know, we want to see, you know, what they were doing with it, and
It's
you
a
know,
little
what kind
sad.
of changes, and
Yeah.
it's sad and stuff like that. But to boil it down, no, I don't miss having a brick and mortar house. I think, you know, just driving off of, you know, what you were asking, you know, you're asking about consistency too. No, I don't think that I miss that at all. We have, you know, a consistent house that we come home to every night, and
This is our home now.
yeah,
So
and this is our home, and that's something
Right.
that, you know, we turned it in from a camper to a home.
So even though our front yard isn't always the same, the grocery store isn't always the same, our home setup is the same. The kids have a bed. They have not a lot of space, but they each have their own bunk. They have their own space. They have their own toys. We can still live a typical. You do have your own toys. Our own typical lifestyle. We're just hopefully doing more adventures and spending more time together. So yeah, so it's just a different way to think about home, I think, is what we're saying is, yes, there are things about the house we miss. There are things about being home that we miss. But right now, the benefits are outweighing the negatives for us, because we get to have so many cool experiences right now.
Right. Yep. Definitely.
So, girls, do you want to come out here for a minute? So I wanted to do the last part. Now, hopefully this could be a little scary, having the kids talk. But the last question. Come here, buddy. You come to Mama? Come here. Oh, I can't get you. Here,
Okay.
go ahead.
I'm
You want to read
scooting
the
over.
question, Matt?
Which one?
This, guys. The top one.
Right here, the best and worst. All right. Let's see if we can cram everyone on the same couch.
It's
All
a
right.
tiny couch.
Yeah, like we never ever do this.
All right, so one of the questions that we got, which we thought were really, really interesting, was just best part? What's the best part of this lifestyle? We thought that was a great question. We actually hear that a lot. So
Well, they said the best and worst part. So I want to do the negative part first, so that way we can end on a positive note. The worst part.
Hi.
Hi, Maya.
Hello.
I know.
This is
I'm
what
trying to
I
think.
skipped it.
Maya.
So I think the worst part would be the change in your support system is everyone's so far away. Sorry. The change in the support system. So your friends and family are far away. So if you really don't feel well, too bad. You can't drop the kids off at Grandma or Papa's house. You're doing your thing. A lot of people don't have that at home anyways, but we did. And you know, if something happens with a family member or a friend, you can't be right there to help out either, which was always important for us, is still important for us, so we help in any way that we can. But you can't always be there feasibly
Throw it out.
to be there for a birthday party or a funeral or things like that. So we definitely know there may become a time where we have to shell out big bucks to fly home at a minute's notice. That could definitely happen. But yeah, for me, that's the worst part of it. What about, do you have anything to add, or do you feel like
Can I
it's the
say
same?
something?
Yeah, I think it's very, very similar.
You're
So
not leaving yet.
yeah, the being disconnected from your family, that definitely is a different level of stress. Like Christy was saying, is we like to support our family when they have you know, life events going on, and that's something that we feel disconnected from sometimes. And we also just finding other ways to handle that is good. All right, so one of the things that we wanted the girls to be able to answer for, please sit up now, is what are the best parts of this lifestyle? Kater, you get to go first. What are the best parts of this lifestyle so far? Look right
Probably being able to travel around and seeing stuff that's really old that you might not be able to see when you get older.
Nice. Anything else?
No.
Do you like doing the Junior Ranger program, seeing the national parks?
It's really fun to do the Junior Ranger programs when we go to the national parks.
What's your favorite national park so far?
You've been to like 8.
It's probably a tie between Maine, Badlands, Yellowstone, and
Acadia.
yeah. Probably Acadia, Badlands, Yellowstone, and Arches.
We need to
So
figure out what
many.
number 1 means.
Yeah.
All right, Alex, you're up. What's the best part of this lifestyle?
Well, the best part, I don't know best part because, well, first of all, there's a lot of good stuff. In my opinion, there's too much good stuff to say right now, but my favorite thing about doing this is spending time with you, and you two are over there, and getting to experience new things, and going to national parks and doing Junior Ranger stuff, and seeing hot springs and geysers and natural formations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Stuff that we get to see. That's
Do you-
really cool.
What do you like? Do you like the Junior Ranger program?
Yes, Junior Rangers programs are awesome, and they're just. I love getting to see all this stuff and doing all the activities because they just
What's your favorite national park?
arches.
Arches.
That is my favorite place. Okay, you said Yellowstone twice. You must have really liked it.
Yeah.
Do you really like Yellowstone?
Yes, I do. So if you go to Everglades,
You
This is my brother's book.
He scribbled all over it.
You will get a book that looks like this.
That's the back of it.
This is the front of it. Wait.
All right.
All right, girls.
Thanks, girls. Is there anything else you want to add about the best part of this kind of lifestyle? All right.
Why don't you say hi to everybody?
Say hi.
Papa and Emma were watching, and Maya.
Hi, Emma. Hi, Papa. Hi, Maya. And hi, everybody else that we know that's on there. And hi, everybody
say
that's
hi,
on
Emma,
there.
too. Did you say hi
did.
to Emma? Okay, good. All right. That's
What's your best part?
the best part that I have is being able to travel around with the family, focus on making experiences with the kiddos. That by far is my number one thing, because like I was saying earlier, is I literally blinked and I had a 10-year-old, and now I have a 11-year-old. So I want to make sure that I'm capitalizing on that time that we have together, and that is why I'm doing this, and that is by far the best thing ever. There's some other things too that I really like. For example, I don't want the kids to be scared of traveling at all. I want them to be very comfortable with traveling and
We'll try new things.
and trying new things and traveling to new places and being very adventurous. I think that builds confidence and gets them experiences that a lot of other people will not have.
I'm going to add to that. Sorry, I'm off the screen here. But meeting different people, new people and different types of people with different backgrounds, I think is another added benefit.
Yeah, definitely. So, all
Is
right.
there any other questions?
Yes, we're definitely messing up the images. For some reason, they're reversed. We'll figure that one out if we do this again. I noticed that too. Sorry about that. Any other questions that we have?
That's all. We did all of them.
Hi, Bobby.
Oh,
Hi.
little Bobby's here.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
All right.
Hello, Bobby.
And hi, Charcoal. And
Yes,
bye,
yes.
Maya.
Yes,
And
yes,
bye.
hi.
Okay. Bye. See you later.
Yeah.
All right. All right, cool. Well, Christy is dealing with Carter, so that's it for us. Thanks everyone for attending our first Q&A session and putting up with our crazy live stream. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we shared some good information here. If you do think of any other questions, feel free to post it on our Facebook page or comment on this video. And that's it for us. Really appreciate it. Thumbs up if you liked it. And thanks everyone for participating. And we will chat with you next time. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.